Okay, today is August 20th, 2025. Call to order the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. The first order of business would be for a public comment period for 3 minutes, but there's no one in attendance, so we'll dispense with that. Next will be the approval of the June 2025 minutes, which were distributed. Is there any comment or adjustments to those minutes? Hearing none, motion to approve the minutes from June of 25.
So moved.
So moved by Joe, a second.
I'll second.
Second by Ingrid. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Okay, new business. Okay, we want to introduce today Jason Lovelace. Jason is from the Samet Corporation, and he would like to discuss a proposal for developing disc golf at Olson Park. So in a partnership, I guess, opportunity between his company and the city. So having said that, Jason.
Yeah, so thank you all for having me. My name is Jason Lovelace. I'm a pre-construction executive with Samet Corporation here in Wilmington. Our office is over in Porter's Neck in the MedAct building right by Walmart. We've been working here for about 5 years, and each year we try to identify a target charitable contribution, target give back. This year we've identified a park project specifically at Olson Park to try and develop a disc golf course. And the reason for that is because my son got into playing disc golf a couple of years ago. He said, "Dad, there's nowhere that I can throw far without hitting a tree." So we started looking at parks and going around different areas. We live about 2.5 minutes away from this park, and the idea was to create something that suits a couple of different purposes. One is to provide a course that the public can play, that they can learn on, a very user-friendly course, a very beginner course, but also be able to advance it to a point where we can host tournaments in the city that would bring a slightly higher caliber professional level player, meaning longer shots, harder shots, more technical shots. And a park like this provides a setting where we can do all of those things. The third aspect of this is the Miracle League and Access of Wilmington and what they do at that park, and how important that specific field is, that Miracle League field is to the community. We want to bring the Southeast North Carolina, really North Carolina's only fully accessible disc golf course to Wilmington, and we want to do it centered around the park. And what that means is a 9-hole course that's wheelchair accessible, that is extremely beginner user friendly, and that is much shorter, but still provides dignity to those that are playing. It serves 2 purposes as well. One, not only for advantages of playing with those that have limited mobility, but also serves as a unique putting course for those players that want to hone that skill as well. So what we've laid out on the park, I know there's been some comments already, and we've been looking at those a little bit, is an 18-hole course with 2 different tee pads that allow players to go from a very short manageable course to a very long technical course, all in a matter of how they play. So I don't know where you want to go from here, but that's kind of the overview of how we got to this point and why we wanted to bring it to the Parks Committee and really see how we can help bring this to life. The idea is it's a completely volunteer-based project. We'll support it as much as we can with local subcontractors, local contractors, financial support from those subs, labor, materials, volunteer hours, to really bring something special to Olson Park is the goal.
Thank you, Jason. Just for the board, and what we're looking for from you today is just some general initial feedback. We have had internal meetings with Parks and Recreation staff, our maintenance folks, as well as our engineering team to take a look at the potential for putting this at the park, and we're very excited about the opportunity. So wanted to see if you had any initial feedback, and I'm sure as we work through this and the next sort of steps of planning, it'll come back before you again.
It looks like I'm looking at holes 1, 2 are in the front 9. Is there going to be a lot of clearing? I see a lot of tree area in there.
Yeah, the most beneficial thing about a disc golf course is it's pretty easy to put in, it's pretty easy to take out. The idea of having 4 or 5 holes within the trees is actually, if you've ever been to Castle Hayne Park, that disc golf course out there is all through the trees. Those holes create interest, so we'd leave as many of those trees as possible. We'd only take out the undergrowth so that we could see what the sight lines are. Obviously, we haven't walked through there and laid out holes just yet. So as we go through there and we work with some of the local clubs that they've been doing this for 20, 25 years, work with them to, what's the best sight line? Is this a left-hand turn shot? Is this a right-hand turn shot? Should we keep it straight? Once we find out what the topography and the actual tree layout is in that area, we'll adjust the holes accordingly so that you don't have to take trees out unless absolutely necessary.
And is that something that's,
I think it's fantastic. A disc golf course is actually in the existing Olson Park master plan.
oh,
It was originally conceived to go through the Duke Energy easement, which is that hashed area sort of towards the bottom. But the reason I believe that Samet has chosen the course that they have is, as Jason said, an important component is to make it accessible, which is beautiful for this park in harmony with the Access Wilmington operation of the Miracle Field. So yeah, this fits in perfectly with our strategy for the park. As Sally mentioned, we're still vetting it through engineering. And so how we see it proceeding is when they get sort of all the feedback on their end from a technical standpoint, where they're at a point to submit a written proposal to the city of what the actual installation and construction would look like, and their costs, then we would then bring this back to y'all to ask for your vote on it, and then obviously then through the city manager and eventually city council. But yeah, staff is fully supportive of this proposal.
is it a fee-based activity? Is it
Fee-based or
fee-based
free to the
activity?
public?
We are doing everything we can to keep it open and free, and as well as built for free.
I would imagine it, there could be fees on a tournament basis at some point.
Right. So the PDGA, the Professional Disc Golf Association, hosts tournament currently at Castle Hayne Park and Arrowhead Park. Those are all fee-based because you have to pay for the actual tournament itself. But that's why we love disc golf so much, is because it's inclusive, one, and it's free. $10 gets you a disc and you can go play. That's a pretty low barrier of entry as opposed to regular golf or any other sport, really. Yeah, and as open and as free as possible.
So is this a 100% donation to the city?
That is our goal. I haven't vetted that out yet till we know the exact plan, but our goal is to get this as much of this park donated as possible. Tee pads, baskets, and really those are the two things you need. You need tee pads and you need baskets. There may be a couple volunteer work days to go out and clear brush, but the idea is we can get those. I mean, we're talking $20,000 or $30,000 for tee pads and baskets. That is well within our range to go negotiate on behalf of the city with.
And who maintains it?
So currently the 2 disc golf courses are maintained by Cape Fear, New Hanover County Disc Golf. It's a club, and they have volunteer days every quarter, and they go out, they clean it up. The only thing we'd be looking for from the city would be if there's trash cans out there, making sure those are maintained. If there's benches, making sure those are maintained. But as far as the course, cutting the grass, that's about it. No more than what you're currently working on, with the addition of walking around and making sure the trash is taken out.
And so first come, first serve, or, I mean, you don't have to make reservations with anybody, no staff requirement to,
You know,
Is there any liability associated with this golf course? No.
the only real liability is disc flying and hitting somebody's car. But you get around that by putting signs up that say, if you park here, there's a potential that your car can get hit.
Yeah,
by
I don't
this.
mean to say no liability, because there's liability associated with anything, but
That's
no
right.
more liability than a playground or a tennis court or any other active recreation amenity in a park.
that we have coverage for anyway,
Yeah.
right now, right?
Joe, I think it's a really good point, because in part of our planning already, we've noticed that there's some that are really close to parking, some holes here that are really close to parking. So we would want to really look at which, what the angles are, and if they're, we want to avoid throwing discs into parking areas or at our active pedestrian spaces.
I can't tell what the holes are. Those the black marks, the black
Yeah.
dots.
Is
those
it possible to
holes.
zoom in?
There's
I'd love
one
to
like really
walk you
close
through
to the baseball diamond too, or on the baseball diamond. What do
So-
you
And
there's-
again, this is just the initial, we're not asking
Concept,
for a vote today. We're very much at the concept level, so this could change.
We would expect it to, like, what I don't want you to think is Samet has come up with this idea, Samet says this is what you're doing. That's not it at all. This is the beginning of a partnership where we want nothing but the best for this park. And if that's a vision that you've already started, if that's using some of that land on the south that's not in the wetlands, to utilize a couple holes so we get it away from the main traffic area, we're completely open. I did this, in discussions with my son, and he said, I would really like a really long hole. So you look at hole 9, it's like 860 feet. He's super pumped to go throw that hole. It's wide open, guys. We love doing this. We love the idea behind it. We love getting the community involved. The club has already agreed to a big club outreach and community information session surrounded by the club or supported by the club to bring in the 362 members that we have to talk about what's best for the park from a feasibility standpoint. And when we get to that point, obviously, we want to bring it back to this group.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody on virtual want to have any questions?
I think it's a great plan. I love it.
I have a question, or a concern actually. This is not a park I'm super familiar with, but just looking from the aerial shot, there's not a lot of tree coverage as it is. So I would be concerned about any plan that's gonna remove from the canopy.
It's all undergrowth. All the major trees have to stay. That's what creates interest on this.
Okay,
The big thing that we're working with parks right now on is what can we use? What areas can we use? What areas are off limits? They've given a lot of really good guidance, so we'll continue those conversations. This was more about bringing everyone else into the fold on, here's an idea that we had that we think can make this place great.
Thank you so much, Jason. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Thank you, Jason.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Okay, next order of business, we have staff who wants to come talk to us today about Halliburton Park. We have Andy Fairbanks, and he wants to talk about a proposed agreement between the city and the North Carolina Registry of National Heritage that was distributed to us to read over. And I think the main thing is that we're going to preserve Halliburton Park as its current use, but I'll let you kind of fill us in.
Yeah, thank you. Going back to 1998, prior to Halliburton Park opening up, the site was owned by the city. It was surveyed by the North Carolina Natural Heritage Area, and that's how it came to be known as the South Wilmington Sandhills by the state. And the very reason why the city decided to preserve and protect it and establish it as a nature preserve. Just a little bit of background information on the Natural Heritage Program and the park specifically. At that time, they identified 5 natural communities that were found in the park that were found to be significant. Along with that, there were multiple plant species and animals that were considered rare and some populations critically imperiled across the state of North Carolina. Their classification in '98 at the time was they would consider sites either regionally significant, statewide significant, or have national significance. They've since changed that classification. It's a little more comprehensive. And last fall, we met with the ecologists with the Natural Heritage Program, and several biologists came out to do an updated survey, talk to them about some new species that had been observed out there. After that initial survey, they determined there were 9 natural communities within the park. Their takeaway was that's quite remarkable to have in a 60-acre area in an urban environment. To put that in perspective, Carolina Beach State Park, which we're all familiar with, has 15 or 16 natural communities, but that's about 10 times larger, over 700 acres. So it's pretty remarkable to have that in the heart of the city. Their classification So they changed it from regional, statewide, and national to a 5-tier category. Being general, moderate, high, very high, or exceptional representation for the state. And the South Wilmington Sandhills are considered R2, very high. So just not quite exceptional, but so that's pretty remarkable as well. The registry, after that meeting, their staff recommended that we could enter into a registry agreement with the Natural Heritage Program that would provide multiple things for the city and for their organization as well. One, the public would know and recognize it as a registered natural heritage site. Signage would be placed by the Natural Heritage Program in the park, which would be beneficial with our natural resource management projects. A lot of times people think of Halliburton Park, they may come there for a playground or walk their dog. They don't think of a significant natural area. So it would be beneficial for us as a department to promote this significant natural area that we have. So just a little bit about the registry agreement. It's a voluntary agreement. It's a mutual understanding between that Natural Heritage Program and the city of Wilmington. Given that the agreement can be terminated at any time, it doesn't involve any title transfer, and it would give us, as you mentioned earlier, additional opportunities to preserve and protect the park and enhance our management of it. So with that, we're asking for your support to enter into that registry agreement with the state of North Carolina.
Before we vote, open the floor to any questions for Andy. And the other thing I would say is, y'all do such a great job in promoting all the programs that I get on MailChimp. Would this be an extension, all these new, communities that you've identified to, show all these new plant and animal species that we're trying to preserve? That'd be kind of, or are we already doing it for these?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be something I would enter into this agreement. We would certainly want to promote this in the community. And I think that would be appropriate to send out a let citizens know that this is an important step in further protecting the park.
And the building is in that area?
I think that is just outside of that. So it is 51 acres. The park is 60 acres, so it doesn't include around the event center, the parking lot, the playground area, picnic shelters. Those would be excluded from that.
I think it's great.
Are there any additional benefits for us to do this other than just being with the registry? Is there any other benefits for the city or for the park?
But I think, primarily what I'd stated, those are the primary benefits. I think, as a whole, it demonstrates that the city is committed to, preserving and protecting our natural resources, and committed to that.
Yeah, I would say the two main benefits are promotion and tourism. To be able to make the claim that we're on a registry. But as Andy was saying, also, it just adds an extra layer of protection. So that, again, there's no change in title, there's no financial commitment by the city, but, any public property at any time is vulnerable to a change in use, depending on the interest, the market, and political will and the climate. So if this, if we were to enter into this agreement, to me, it just offers an extra layer of open space preservation and demonstrates a commitment by staff and by city council that we want that extra layer of preservation for this park. Makes it a little bit more difficult to change the use in the future.
Does it make it a little bit more difficult management for you? Do you have to go to them to get approval for things that you do? Any kind of outbreak training? Okay.
So that's not required. We're not required to have a specific management plan. that would mandate what we can and can't do. Certainly, they do have recommendations within their survey, one of which was continued prescribed burning. And then the other concern would be being an urban park, the density of use and those visitor impacts that would be associated with it, specifically with those populations of rare plant species.
Franklin's question made me think, but I know the answer. So it's just recognition. There's no funding from the state. We won't get any dollars or anything. No.
No funding.
But no payment.
Yeah, no, yeah, right, it goes both ways. Huh? Yeah, wow, I think this is great, what you guys do out there. Any other discussion for Andy?
Do we have any other parks that are currently under this?
No.
Do we know where the closest one is? Like closest?
I don't know off the top of my head. The closest one I'm aware of, and I'm sure there's one that's much closer, is going to be in Mecklenburg County. In fact, most of Mecklenburg County's nature preserves, they've actually taken it a further step. They've had them dedicated as nature preserves, which is entirely different than what we're doing.
Thinking about that too. Is there any other parks in our area or within the city that have the potential to do this also?
Greenfield Park is identified as a by the Natural Heritage Program. It probably has a little bit lower. I don't know the ranking on that as far as the natural communities there and the representation. But certainly that's something that could be considered. And as far as our city parks, I think that's the only other one that comes to mind. It's nice. I don't think Piney Ridge Nature Preserve, Stanley Reader would qualify due to the size of it. So.
Any further discussion? Okay, so we want to put it to a vote. I should just put it to a vote. All in favor of supporting and adopting this proposal to have Halliburton Park be on the North Carolina Registry of Natural Heritage Areas. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. I need, I'm sorry, I need to do it as a motion. I'm drawing a blank. Need a motion to vote or need a motion to?
Ask for someone to
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need a motion to approve the city's support and coordination to put Halliburton Park on the North Carolina Registry of Natural Heritage Areas.
I will move.
Moved by Joe. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Franklin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moved.
Terry, I wonder if you would entertain moving community reports in front of old business, just so we can let our other guests be on her way.
Oh, yeah. I did jump ahead of her. I'm sorry. I looked at it. Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay, good. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy.
Okay, next on new business, and Sally did give me that. We have with us today from WMPO, Carolyn Kajia. She wants to talk to us about a grant they're trying to get for trail signage for all the trails within the park system. So having said that, I'm gonna turn it over to Carolyn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, so now I can actually read the screen.
Yeah.
Sure, if you wanna hop on to the next slide, please. Sorry, yeah, so my name is Carolyn Kajia with the WMPO. I'm a transportation planner there. So Sally invited me to come and talk about an effort that we're undertaking to increase etiquette on all trails within the WMPO boundary for all trail users, no matter what they're using. So if they're biking, walking, using a stroller, using a skateboard, potentially an e-bike. So yeah, this is an effort to unify messages and signage on trails, also paved multi-use paths within the WMPO boundary. We're prioritizing etiquette first and foremost as this campaign unfolds. And then as part of this effort, we're going to be developing a toolkit for the WMPO member jurisdictions, including the city of Wilmington. In that toolkit, there will be a set of trail rules that would be widely promoted. And I'll go over what our draft rules are on the next slide. And then also in that toolkit, we'll have things like social media messages, content for websites or newsletters, what have you, to promote trail etiquette. And then also some guidelines for signage installation as well. So here are the draft rules for the campaign. We've already brought these to the WMPO Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee for their comments and review. We also brought this to the Pedestrian and Bicycle Improvements Committee from the city of Wilmington. So keeping in mind that these are intended to go on signs, we kind of have these shorter messages on the left in bold, and then maybe some clarification or additional points that would go as part of the messaging campaign. So starting with number 1, share the trail, be considerate of other trail users. Number 2, no dirt bikes, ATVs, or golf carts. We did receive some feedback that we may benefit from outlining a bit of definitions for each of these vehicles to separate them from like e-bikes or e-scooters that would potentially be more amenable for trail usage. Number 3, maintain a safe speed. Keep your speed safe for all trail users and conditions. So just be mindful that other slower users may be on the trail and that there may be puddles or curves or something. Number 4, wheels heel to heels. We did comb through a lot of other etiquette campaigns and efforts from across the country. We did see wheels heel to heels a few times, so we wanted to pull that in. We thought it was kind of catchy. So meaning bikes, scooters, and skateboards heel to pedestrians. Number 5, keep right, pass on the left, alert others and slow down when passing. Number 6, be alert, look and listen, so be aware of your surroundings. That could look like maybe using 1 headphone instead of 2 when you're walking, to be aware of people coming up behind you on the left, and maybe not walking or using the trail in a way that takes up the entire trail. Number 7, keep pets on a leash. And then number 8, leave no trace. So stay on the trail, don't litter, and pick up after your pets. Next one, please. We're also kicking around some branding ideas for this campaign to fold it also into the signage umbrella as well for this regional effort. So we're kind of going for like a cheeky, sort of friendly, but still memorable vibe for the campaign itself. So this is really tiny text on the left, but I'll read it. So that top left on that 4 little orange boxes says, if it has wheels, it yields. Bikes, boards, and scooters give way to feet and paws. And then that one on the bottom right says, your dog might be friendly. The 12 people and 3 squirrels around you, TBD. Keep your pet leash, it's safer for everyone. So that's kind of like the tone that we're aiming for. And then we were kicking around a few branding ideas. We ran a few through ChatGPT, and then we're kind of gravitating towards this idea on the right potentially. But this is all still being worked on. We're going to be really heavily leaning on the WMPO member jurisdiction staff. So this is, again, a regional effort to get our messages across. So yeah, did I nail it? Anything else I need to add?
Nailed it. Thank
Awesome.
you. Does anyone have any questions?
Sure.
I would strongly urge on the etiquette for number 2,
Okay,
no e-bikes,
no e-bikes?
no
We're-
e-bikes.
We're still, so first of all, there's still pending legislation introduced by Senator Michael Lee that would aim to classify e-bikes, and certainly e-bikes have been a part of the conversation with the city and the MPO. Sally and Abby Lorenzo, who's the assistant director of the MPO, have been working for the better part of a year on this type of information, as well as internally the city's bike ped committee. The biggest thing with an outright ban of e-bikes is enforcement. And so what we're sort of leaning to at this point, and then obviously like getting into the classes of e-bikes, I can't imagine that would be an enforcement mess. So what we've been leaning towards lately in internal discussions is just establishing a speed limit. Because even on manual bikes, people can fly by. So that would take out a lot of the guessing part and a lot of the more just the guessing part in terms of enforcement and just establishing a speed limit. So unfortunately, we're not there yet in order to ask you to consider going that far. We haven't even made those suggestions all the way to the city manager's office yet. So this is really just a first step in the toolkit they're developing. In this grant, we'll actually be the pilot of all of the MPO's jurisdictions. And starting with this will give us money to design the signs and sort of adopt those rules for the campaign. But your point's well taken. It's just sort of a hornet's nest once you get into it that we're still trying to navigate, and obviously waiting to see what this bill does as well.
If I may add, kind of the intent with number 2 was to preclude the usage of motor vehicles. So many e-bikes have operable pedals. So our intent for number 2 was kind of to say, like, if it doesn't have operable pedals and you're just using a motor, maybe don't bring it on the trail. And then, of course, like you said, speed being the easier to observe factor.
In my experience is e-bike owners are outright just reckless and inconsiderate. I've been on trails where they just.
Especially the younger ones. I mean, they're terrifying.
They're the ones
I
that'll
mean, they
be
ride
able
on
to
one wheel. They're doing wheelies on it. Believe me, we got it. It's
Understand.
terrifying. We're just
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
navigate the best way to.
Yeah.
I mean, even to no dirt bike, I mean, some of these e-bikes are dirt bikes.
Well, the city has an existing ordinance that says no motorized vehicles on our trails. So we already have something in the ordinance that's a little iffy to enforce right now. So again, I think we're gonna end up, the easiest place we're gonna end up is establishing a speed limit, but there's so much discussion that goes into it and so much difficulty. And at the end of the day, it's the police department that has to enforce it. And when they're dealing with higher priority crime, to ask them to go look at what type of classification are you riding there, buddy, is probably not realistic. So we're just trying to navigate.
I've never seen a policeman on one of our bike trails.
We do have bicycle patrols and gator patrols on the Cross City Trail occasionally, but obviously it's not as much as we would like.
So to add on to this, if I may, the WMPO, you're welcome to have a seat if you want to.
Okay, sure.
It also has opened a grant opportunity that we are preparing to apply for, and staff would like to ask the board to vote on support, if they wish, for us to apply for this grant to do a pilot project. So through the work that the MPO is doing, they would generate the types of signage and language and imagery that they would recommend across the whole system. And we would do a pilot to show what it looks like in real life, actually design and then install some signs on our trail system, and see how our users interact with them, and then tweak it as needed so that it can be rolled out to the rest of the system.
And who are we applying to?
It's actually through the MPO.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Steph is much. I got you.
Yeah, so they
So
administer.
the city would apply to the
federal-
MPO.
They administer the grant. So what I would ask the board if they would consider. Motion.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's a request from staff that we put a motion on the board to support their efforts to apply for a grant through WMPO to do a pilot program of this sign and these etiquettes. So that's the motion. Can I? Yeah, well, I need a motion. So is there a motion to approve? Why am I drawing a blank?
Because we didn't meet in July, so you're off.
Yeah, really?
We're rusty.
No motion.
Yeah, so
I think that Ingrid seconded.
yeah.
Yes, I'll
Got a
second.
first and a second? Thank God. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, so moved. Okay, good. All right, so to old business. The next order of business is to review and finalize the SMART goals that we did back in June. We were all kind of given those results and everything. Everybody should have this paper. Open up for any discussion, any corrections or anything to any of the five goals that we had or the timelines and the dates that were. And I'll just kind of read them out, trying to get UNCW and Cape Fear Community College students involved, inviting new city council members to come to our meetings. Riverwalk activation, that's at Live Oak Pavilion, and I guess also kind of Greenfield Lake with Live Oak and along the Riverwalk. This one I thought was really good too. Host Parks and Recs advisory board meetings at park facilities and try and engage the public. And then finally increase public awareness of parks and recreation. So those were the five goals.
Terry, we do have a staff proposed goal that we wanted to bring
Okay, good.
forward.
Then go ahead. Yeah, go, please.
Sorry to spring this on y'all, but I wanted to see if you would consider adding one more goal to your work plan. And this was a result of a conversation that I had with Deputy City Manager Tom Moten, arising from my request for him to support the designation for Halliburton Park, which he is fully supportive of. And it led us to a broader discussion of preserving open space in a geographically equitable way across the city. And so you all have voted to support the designation for Halliburton. And so that is your supporting of open space at that park. I am going to challenge you to come up with up to 3 other sites across the city that the advisory board would like to see preserved as open space. And this would only mean you support that. There's no legal protection that comes with it. It would just be your desire to see particular tracts of land preserved as open space. And I have one for you already, and that is the city-owned property between Mates Park and the city's safety training facility off of First Drive. This is the police department and fire department's training facility. Here's the Davis Center in Mates Park. This is all city owned. Wow. It is in the path of the future Independence Boulevard extension. However, there would still be a large amount of city owned land remaining. And so that's one that I'm putting out there as a suggestion. I'm not asking you to do anything today, but consider adding a goal to your work plan of coming up with, we've got Halliburton now, coming up with 3 other sites. I'm suggesting this be one, so then you would only have to look for up to 2 others. Again, with the idea of geographical, equal geographical distribution of open spaces. And again, the Halliburton Park idea just spurred the idea in mine and Tom's mind that that's great for the area of the city that Halliburton's in, but what about other areas that we would like to have preservation of open space?
Good, Jim.
Isn't there already a goal or objective or somewhere about having a park within a 10-minute walking distance of everyone's home?
That is a recommendation in the comp plan, but I guess we're talking not, so a park can be an athletic facility. So when I say preservation of open space, I mean at most a passive park. I just mean a green space that we're not gonna build a tennis court or a basketball court or anything like that.
I'm not disagreeing with your suggestion. I think it's great. I'm asking that perhaps it be more broad. One of the things in reviewing the strategic plan that I wanted to bring up today was I don't think it includes enough information or enough focus on preserving the remaining open space land that we have left. And what can we do as a board to facilitate preservation of open space? Can we look at changing rules for the developers, for example? I mean, to me, there's a variety of things that we can look at, and I think it's great that you brought this up, and I think we should address it.
Awesome, thank you. I think number one, this is a 2-year work plan. And so I think you want to be realistic and again, adopt SMART goals. When we start thinking about changes for the land development code, obviously, we want to work hand in hand with our planning department on that and find out what their initiatives and business plans are for the next year. It's just a little bit more, I think, comprehensive than maybe, and I'm speaking just as a staff advisory person, it's your plan. So if you think that's something that you want to tackle, I was just trying to start kind of small and give you all something manageable to think about in terms of a 2-year plan where you want to achieve a SMART goal.
Amy, what can staff provide the board members as far as like all of the open space, so we can see, you know, what to pick and choose from? We want
We
you
can
more.
send you a link. There is in the city's ArcGIS gallery.
Okay.
Every vacant parcel in the city, whether it's publicly or privately owned, there is a gallery for that, and you can click on it and it gives you information. We can send that link out
That
to the
would be
board.
helpful.
That would be great, yeah.
Owned and can we tell from that what city?
Yeah, you'll
owned
be
and
able to
what's-
click on it. It'll tell you the owner, the acreage, any, you know, restrictions, wetlands, floodplain, that kind of information.
For this particular piece that you're talking about here, do you know if it's, because I know there's a lot of wetlands in that area.
Mhm.
Do you know if this is all uplands or if it's,
It's a mix. I don't have it by acreage.
Okay.
I don't think it's been surveyed recently.
then I know that the Salvation Army just built their facility right near there, and it's a city owned and maintained road, I believe, that goes through there, and I don't know if
So that is a little bit further to the north. So off of 23rd Street, there was a road built off of here, and so it actually right here. Off of, it's about in this area. This is an older Google map, so it's Salvation Army's right
it's
there.
right there. And the two, it looks like the two parcels connect slightly, and I'm wondering if, you know, there would be any, I'm sure they would be willing to.
I don't think that they do actually connect.
Which two parcels, the one by Maids Park? and that one?
I'm looking at it on GIS right now. And it looks,
Well, again, a road was built, so, but I guess, okay, say they did, what was your question about?
I
if
was
they
just,
connect?
I was just saying, you know, it could be something, because I know they're planning on building either ball fields or something else on the back portion of their property, and I don't know if it could be tied in to kind of make it all one big area.
Glow Academy is over there as well, and at one point, I know that and this was all formerly Cameron owned property, that's Glow, and there's plans for future athletic fields on the other side of Glow too, so I don't know if maybe that's tied into.
So if I might add, Franklin, and for the board as well, if you're excited about this topic, these questions are exactly what you could, you know, get your.
Yeah, we're not here to do
teeth
the work
into.
for you.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
into it, add this goal, and if you want to create a subcommittee to do this kind of work, you know, we would support that.
I do think this is an impactful opportunity for us, from current board makeup, individuals who may come in for changes to the board. And I think it definitely fits in with our cities, our community's initiatives to identify and maximize these passive green spaces. I would say for me, I think replacing goal 5 with this makes sense. Adding a 6th goal over a 2-year period with a lot of vagary in these goals, which is both great and they're smart adjacent, which I think is important. But I also think we are jumping into deep waters with 6 goals. And I don't want to water down the importance of any of these, but I think if we look at this, goal 5 can be loosely attributed to goal 4. So a lot of them, what we're trying to accomplish with that can be accomplished as a subset as we get deeper into the development and evaluation of these committees and subcommittees. That would be my potential push for this as a, not an additional goal, but a replacement, if you will, because I do think this could be a deep piece of it on both those fronts. But replacing, I'll call it 6 for the proposed additional goal, making 6 5, and then 5 a potential subset of what we're doing with 4, and even 3 as you look at this about public awareness and things. That goal 5 fits in a lot of these other ones and not in a shoehorned way that puts us in a deficit. from an energy and opportunities way.
Zach, there's a lot of merit to what you said. I really see that because that number 5 is really kind of vague. I mean, we do a lot like we just saw with Andy. I know all the stuff that he does with Halliburton, you know, making aware of what's going on there. But obviously, the proposed goal by staff is 1,000 times more important than, you know, I think than, you know, just the public awareness piece. So I kind of support your, you know, suggestion. Any other thoughts on that?
I think he's right. You could probably take 3, 4, and 5 and make 1, increase public awareness and use of park facilities, have all of those things under 3, 4, and 5 as a subset.
And I'm fine breaking 4 out as its own individual one, and that, again, I'll call it a goal. That could just be an initiative, less a goal. It all depends on how much we want written in a goal sheet. That's an easy one for take a W on from a smart side. So while we're not necessarily looking to check boxes for victory in achieving goals, leaving 4 as a standalone accomplishes that because all we've got to do is, you know, do it and it's done. So I'm with you. I mean, we can reduce these, but if we want to kind of have it on there, that one thankfully takes probably the least amount of energy and effort.
I think 4 accomplishes 5.
I would say
You
those two
know,
are
I
next
mean,
to that.
I think it really effectively does that. I mean, my gosh, if we do 4 times in that park and bring people in. I mean, you know, especially some of the key parks.
And that's what we do, 11 meetings a year or 12?
11.
10, max.
Actually, 10, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's 40%. Everything.
Anybody virtually have any discussion? If not, if
Okay.
somebody wants to make a substitute.
Yeah, so I think what we have is a motion on the floor that number 5 is really now just absorbed into goal number 4. And that the proposed goal by staff, which was 6, really becomes our 5th goal. And with the understanding that staff is going to provide us with some links to some GIS so we can identify all the open spaces and come by. Timeline by that, December 26th is good. Yeah, by that. Okay. So I need a motion to do everything that I just said, actually have 5 really be incorporated within goal 4, and the proposed goal 6 really become our 5th goal. So I need a motion for that, our action plan.
I'll make a motion
Okay,
for
Need a
what you-
okay.
to incorporate what was it, the
5,
Yeah.
pardon?
goal 5 into goal 4.
Yeah, goal 5 into goal 4, and to get the map from Amy from the link, and to be able to identify areas that we find interesting to investigate to whether or not there could be a park. I don't know how to word that better. It didn't come out right.
Is that good?
All the thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Franklin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so moved. Wonderful,
Yeah.
good. Great goal, thank y'all, it really is. It's, I think, some of the best work we do this year. Okay, so let's see, moving on. Yes, on this, the next thing we were just talking about with this work plan, and we're not gonna do it at this meeting, but we'll think about it on some of these, set some committees to kind of put these goals in place, but we'll table that for the September meeting, which, by the way, I won't be at. Committee reports, there's none. Ron's not here, so we really don't have any committee reports. As far as chair reports, I asked last time, and Amy, thank you for getting us out the monthly report, the flip chart report, you know, that is so good. And my only observation, well, there was a couple, but, and it's kind of interesting because now it's kind of all over the news with council and everything. But the park rangers reporting homelessness and kind of all the statistics as far as the numbers that he's sleeping. Is it, didn't seem to be a lot of violence or anything that he was seeing or anything among homelessness. And he gets that just by walking around, just his observations. Is that basically where he's getting it
Right, so
from?
he works 40 hours a week, primarily at Greenfield, but a handful of other parks as well. And so he documents every encounter that he has, and that is compiled into a report. We actually are in the process of setting up a meeting with WPD. They've rearranged some of their patrols recently, and so, but we have had I would say, a spike in some nuisance activity and criminal activity at Greenfield. So we're in the process of setting up a meeting to discuss strategies with them. But obviously, the broader homelessness conversation is elected official level at this point. But yeah, we were just emailing about that meeting, setting up a meeting like that today.
And the only thing I remember when he came and talked to us last, he talked about maybe getting K9, to work with. He just hasn't-
Yeah, that was, at the time, he had a personal dog, a German Shepherd. He has actually worked as a dog trainer
Right,
in the
yeah, I
military.
remember that.
At the time that program didn't go forward as approved for a variety of reasons. Number one, there wasn't a budget associated with it, but some were worried about the perception of a canine unit police looking dog, and how maybe that's not the friendliest or most park ambassador type approach. We're looking at, maybe a different type of dog, but I'd say we're a little bit far from having that become a reality, but it's still a conversation.
All right, great. Well, good. So open up this board member roundtable. Anything from the board that anybody would like to bring up?
I was at Wade Park 10 to 12 days ago.
Oh.
Water fountains weren't working. And it wasn't all from a weatherization perspective. Water in the restrooms worked, so it wasn't like the water was a damaged piece of it. So I don't know if it's a damaged fountain or if there was something internal from an existing repair that was going on for that. But I know that was at the height of some of the heat with some things. There's workable stuff, but just a Wade Park piece of it. So, and I thought Halliburton was in really good shape around that same 10 to 12 day period. I wasn't scooting, not bad scooting, but scooting and booting were there. It looked fantastic. So sorry, Andy, you didn't get to hear that compliment. I hope you're watching this video. I thought those two parks were in great shape.
Thank you, Zach, for that. And just real quick, we need to wrap up because we're right there too. We all have this Adopt a Park initiative, that we all should be taking some time, finding a park that we signed up for to get feedback, just like Zach said, to help staff when he sees something out there. So please keep that on your radar, okay? So we can, help staff out and support them. So being no further business, can we have a motion to adjourn?
And we adjourn.
Moved by Joe, second.
I'll second.
Second by Franklin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.